Why do you think Vashti was so angry? Why do you think Vashti's art teacher asked her to sign it? How do you think Vashti felt when she saw her dot framed? Remember the little boy who said he couldn't draw? Remember when Vashti said to sign his squiggle? What was her message to the little boy? So what was the theme in this story? Think about the teacher's message to Vashti. Make your mark and see where it takes you. Artists, like the Aboriginal artists of Australia, use dots in their art. The Aborigines use sticks, but we can use Q-tips. Or we can fold coffee filters and make dots with markers. Or mix up your materials on paper plates. Look how Japanese artist YAYOI KUSAMA used dots. Do you see the artist sitting next to the pumpkin? Robert DELAUNAY used dots and circles. Artist VASSILY Kandinsky loved using dots and circles too. You'll see it in many of his paintings. Hey, does this painting look familiar to you? Making circles and dots can make art a lot of fun. My suggestion is to grab a bowl in your house, find a piece of paper. It's easy to make a circle if you have something to trace. And trace your circle. Now you can decide whether you want to put your design inside the circle or outside the circle. It's up to you. My daughter came up with this one. Isn't that beautiful? And I made her sign it. So let's see. I think for this one I'm going to make a design inside my circle. So I have watercolor, I have some oil pastels, I have crayons, and it's fun to just doodle and make some random marks. Or if you have a theme you want to come up with, just fill the space. So I have some crayon markings, which is wax, and then I have this oil pastel, which is an oil. So what I can do, you don't have to do it the same way, but you can come up with your design however you want. But when you're using oil and wax, and then you put watercolor on top, you'll get a really cool resist effect. And that's a very fun way of making different textures when working with different materials. So I just add a little yellow, balance, fill up the space, go right to the edge, maybe some dots. Have some fun with this. You could even take paper and tear it and cut it and glue it on. All right, so now I can do a little resist. Put my little pastels away. You could use markers if you have markers. That's how my daughter did hers. She used Sharpie markers and then my colored markers. So now if I use a little watercolor, and again, when you're using watercolor, you don't want to dig into the cakes. You want to gently fill the color with water. And then you can make any kind of design, and look what happens. Look, it doesn't stick. That's called resist. Let's try another color. Another type of blue. Oh, that's pretty blue. And look what happens. It's resisting. Now I can have some fun with some other colors. Oh, I did purple already, so let's try a little magenta. Blend it into the purple. You can do a tie-dye effect. Watch this. Ooh. All right, so what you want to do is go right up to the edge. Doesn't matter how you make your circle, but you want it to be a full circle. Okay? So you can do that. Okay, for my second circle, you can just do one. If you want to do two, that's fine. But I'm going to actually, that's my first one. For my second one, I'm going to use the space around. So the negative space, we also call the empty space, is where I'm going to be adding the patterns and textures and colors. But inside the circle, it'll stay white. So again, have some fun with materials. I'm using the oil since I have them handy. You can use cut paper, you can do a collage, you can use newspaper, whatever you like. I'm using my oil pastels. Like a pattern design. I'm going to fill up the whole space all the way to the edge. So the negative space is now inside, opposite of what it was. So now I'm going to use maybe some watercolor. So there's one last thing I need to do. Sign it. Sign both. And this is what my mom made using circles and dots. So let's experiment with all kinds of materials. Maybe do a 3D collage. You can make your design inside a dot or outside the dot. For anyone who has been afraid to express themselves, from a child in art class to an adult whose fear has shut down a long-held dream, this book is there to remind us all to make our mark and see where it takes us. Have fun making your dot!